My dick cost a late night fee. Yo dick got the HIV. My dick plays on the double.
From the heart of Broadway, here in historic downtown Cape Girardeau, it's Podzilla After Dark on the Podzilla 1985 network.
Woohoo!
Whoop whoop, Ninja.
No.
I'm Shannon Young, Mr. 100, a name that I wish no one would ever call me anymore. Really hate that nickname at this point. And the fact that it's my wrestling moniker, and I keep asking everyone just to call me Shannon, and they keep going Mr. 100 because I guess it's flashier. But boy, I hate that name.
It's also what you were introduced as, and you have the House 100. Like, yeah, you're kind of...
You're stuck with
House
it.
100 is fine. We're okay. There's no dissension. Don't worry about it. Jesse
Bullet Club
Kimball's
is
here with us
fine.
today.
Hey, that's me.
With a haircut you can set your watch to. Lindsay Gangbangs to my right.
Excuse me?
Lindsay Wolfgang to my right. Lindsay Wolfgang to my right.
Yeah.
There you go.
And the big A, Ali A. Bear.
Hi.
The big A hole. Big A.
Where are you going with this?
I'm just thinking back to the movie Almost Heroes. This is a lowercase a. Ooh. Lowercase a. National treasure.
I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
We started to watch it the other day, but we didn't finish it. I don't think we finished it.
No,
because
we
it was
did
super
not.
late. Yeah.
It was.
Like, we signed up for DC Universe recently and we started to watch Batman and Robin. And I realized, oh, if we're going to watch a Batman movie, let's just watch a good Batman movie. And Allie's never seen the original Batman. So I put on the original Batman film.
Define original Batman.
80s Burton.
Okay.
Not the Adam West one.
I was about to say, like,
No one's seen that one.
a lot of people have seen
Actually,
that
I've
one.
seen that one.
I've also
The
seen
shark
that one.
repellent.
The shark repellent, the part where he's got the bomb and he can't throw it anywhere because there's always people or ducks. That's comedy gold. It really is. The problem is you turned Batman into a goddamn comedy.
So that's what they were going back to with Batman and Robin.
Pretty much. Yeah, no, that's straight. I'm surprised there weren't pals and kazookas.
Oh,
when
yeah,
you
because
find
Batman and
somebody.
Robin is straight up based on the... Because they got Adam West voicing Batman in that one, don't they?
What the hell are you talking about, Kimball? We're talking about Batman and Robin with Clooney?
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Batman and Robin movie on the DC Universe, the animated one.
Yeah, because they had Burt Ward and Adam West come back for
Yes.
that. Yeah. And there's nothing, I mean, I love Adam West, and he was a great Batman. He was a good Batman. But there's nothing like hearing 80-plus-year-old Adam West voicing the Cape Crusader in a very slow, old pace.
You see, I like to pretend that the Batman and Robin live action movie did not happen.
What was it? Was it Asa that said there was, or you said there was a theory that Batman and Robin and Batman Returns were movies, or no, not Batman Returns, Batman Forever, were movies that existed within the Batman Burton universe?
It was Asa, and that he claimed that made them more palatable,
No.
which it sort of does.
No.
And I could actually see that being the case, and it makes sense for, like, you know, the Batman credit card and all that other bullshit, because that actually very easily could be product placement for something that's taking place in, you know, the Burton universe.
It's parody. It's parody, but in a serious way, you know? I think Batman and Robin and Batman Forever exist. If you look at it like, no, they're just bad. They're just bad.
They are bad
They did a bad
movies.
job.
I like Batman Forever.
Batman Forever's bad.
It is, but I still like it.
Batman Forever is way better than Batman and Robin, at least.
See, I don't know. Because Batman Forever, it still has kind of a serious tone, so it's hard to take it too, like, it's hard to take it at too much camp. Whereas Batman and Robin is full camp. It's like, there's no part of that that's serious. As we watched it, and that's part of the enjoyment for me, we were watching it, the first part, where Batman shows up, and he just, in the most monotone way, goes, "Hey, Batman, I'm Freeze." Nope. Opposite. Hey, Freeze, I'm Batman. And he just sounds like he does not give a shit about being there.
Yeah, Clooney really phoned that in.
Yeah.
No, I liked Batman Forever, though, mostly because I really liked Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face.
I did too, even though, like, the character was completely wrong.
Oh, yeah. No, that was not Two-Face at all.
Yeah.
But still, I really liked Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face.
You preferred him to Billy D. Williams.
We never got to see Billy D. Williams as Two-Face.
Not as Two-Face, but we did as Harvey Dent.
We did as
Yeah.
Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
But we never got to see him as Two-Face.
In fact, the story goes that they paid Billy D. Williams a huge amount of money to not be in the film because he was contractually not
He was
obligated.
contracted for the
he was
two films,
contracted
yeah.
to. Well, he was contracted to be Two-Face. That was part of the contract. Was that he would get to play Two-Face later, and they were just like, yeah, but we're kind of going a different direction.
We already replaced Batman.
So we kind of want to replace you and also everything Tim Burton built.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Tim Burton, who had never actually read Batman, so he was just kind of also phoning it in.
I mean, I wouldn't say he was phoning it in. Like, he just had the premise and he made his own thing out of it.
Batman was not, he did not care about human life, which is, I know is a big thing with a lot of people of like, Batman doesn't kill. I've always been one of the people that like, to me, it's, I don't know why doesn't Batman kill? You know, I get why. You don't have to explain it to me. I know why. I'm just saying rhetorically, why don't you kill? Like, just kill. You know, imagine how much easier your job would be if you killed them all. Every time a criminal came up and you just killed him, less criminals would pop up.
Well, Shannon, then that's just too easy. It's too easy just to let himself lose control and kill people.
Why is there not a part? They've never done this as far as I know, and please correct me if I'm wrong. They've never done a part where Batman is confronted by someone whose family died to Joker. And when he, pulls that, well, it's too easy, I'm not going to be like them card. And they're like, bullshit, my family would be alive if you weren't so goddamn, morally righteous. Mm-hmm. Like, that needs to be a thing that's happened if it hasn't already.
It's definitely happened several times.
It needs to. Because
Batman
needs
just
to answer
doesn't
the
really
hard
respond.
questions. Oh, you son of a bitch. You hide behind a mask?
Yeah, he's just
Think
out.
you're so
He
tough?
dodges.
Yeah, he just like, he broods and then he's gone and then he thinks about it later.
He goes back to his mansion, cries to his mommy and daddy's picture. Sleeps with 5 supermodels.
Where his parents were also killed by someone that he found and didn't kill.
Joe Chill.
Yep.
Or Jack Napier, depending on which one you go by.
Like in any storyline, he always figures out who killed his parents.
I guess that's not entirely true because he did kill him in Batman, the Tim Burton film.
Oh, yeah, he did.
Actually, no, I guess he didn't. Because he tried to save him in the end. And he fell. Remember?
I don't.
It's been a while since you've seen the Burton
It's been
films.
a really long time since I've seen the Burton film.
I still think they're really good. They're just, it's back in that era where Batman could not turn his neck in any way. Hard plastic.
Yeah. Had to get the full shoulders in with it.
Batman, look behind you.
I can't.
Hold on. Spin my body completely around. And then the criminal just runs away.
Damn it. That got me again.
I need a new suit.
And fucking Catwoman was the only part of everything about those movies that I really didn't like.
You didn't like Catwoman?
No.
You didn't like Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman?
I did not.
Oh,
I thought the costume looked terrible.
It looked terrible. Well,
I think she played the role just fine.
It did
the
Michelle.
costume looked terrible.
Michelle Pfeiffer in skin tight leather is not terrible in any way.
Plus,
it was the hat. It was the mask.
The
And
mask.
it definitely wasn't leather.
Well, it was supposed to be
leather.
leather.
I'm pretty sure that it was just like vinyl. Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Also, like the fact that they, if I remember right, they made it look like she was revived by cats.
Kind of.
Well, they never really explained that. I think it was more symbolic.
Yeah, well, because it looked like she died.
Yeah, but I think that was symbolic. I think it was she almost died. The cats brought her back. The cats were there, and she just went insane. And now she thought she was, because she kept mentioning how she had 9 lives. There's a part in the movie where she's like, you tried to kill me. Shrek tried to kill me. So I've got 5 lives left. And then he's like shoots her in the end, and she's like counting down the lives she has left as she's going along. So I think like I said, it was just symbolic. It wasn't until the Halle Berry Catwoman movie
was awful.
where it was legitimately like the cats were like part of her.
Yeah, that was a terrible movie.
That was a bad film.
Boy, that's the same thing they did with Venom. Like, why do you think you can have a Catwoman movie with no Batman? Like, why do you think you can have a Venom movie with no Spider-Man?
I at least enjoyed Venom. I thought Venom was a fun movie. It wasn't a great movie, but it was a fun movie.
It was a solid popcorn flick.
Yeah.
Like that was the review I gave it.
And I mean, Venom himself looked really cool. Like they
In
got him
parts.
I think they got him about as just a spot on as you could get.
I mean, he looked phenomenal in like the scene, like in the trailer.
where he first forms and his head flips up and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
he's a We Are Venom or
Yeah.
whatever. Like he looked great there. But outside of that, like,
I think the part for me, and I know we're way just grasping at straws at this point of different things to talk about, but the part I hated about that movie the most was also the part I wanted to like the most, and that was the end with Cletus Cassidy. And if you would have told me that, I would have been upset about Woody Harrelson playing Carnage in a Venom movie. I would have said you're nuts. But like, it was so It was so ham, and he looked weird. Like, this is the guy that played the main character in Natural Born Killers, which might as well have been Cletus Cassidy. But he looked so weird. He looked like goddamn Lyle Lovett with red hair. And I couldn't unsee it.
It looked almost like he was trying to cosplay Chucky from Child's Play.
What?
It looked bad, man.
It did.
It looked real bad.
All the budget went to Venom and that other Venom that wasn't Venom.
That had an equally edgy name that he just like
Wasn't it-
that's how his name translates.
Riot?
Riot.
Yeah, Riot.
Yep.
Riot. Because
Yeah.
that's their names on their planet.
Yeah, that's what it
Venom
translates
and
to
Riot.
in English,
Oh,
which
man.
they learned
Quickly.
without ever like he knew the language before he became before he had a person,
A host.
to attach to a host. I could not think of host for the life of me.
I think the porn version, Vincom, was probably better.
God,
No.
It had April O'Neil.
Also, that movie needed to figure out what kind of movie it wanted to be because it had no idea.
It was all over the goddamn
It
place.
was all over the goddamn place, and it really did look like they just kind of smash cut like a bunch of different movies that
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy, a bunch of different movies that Tom Hardy's been in, and just kind of like added the Venom suit over it.
It should have just been a horror movie. It should have been a horror movie straight up, but
Yes.
whatever.
Well, because that's how they built it at first, was that it was going to be a horror movie.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
and then that just didn't happen.
And then the first trailer come out, and everybody was like, "No, it's not a horror movie.
Not even
This
a
is
little
the
bit."
most generic like action movie you'll see in a while."
Yep.
If you really want to see a good Tom Hardy film, I've said it a million times. Go watch Bronson. Incredible
Bronson's a really
movie.
good movie.
Such a good movie.
I
And-
still really, really want to see Tom Hardy. I keep wanting to say Tom Holland.
Isn't that
It's like-
They are
Spider-Man?
very
Spider-Man.
different.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
very different people. I still really want to see Hardy as Wolverine, though. Like, I just think he'd be perfect for that.
It wouldn't be
role.
the first time that a DC actor went to Marvel and had much better success.
That's true. Well, I mean, he already did go to Marvel, kinda, from DC.
Who? Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
Is he in Marvel? Oh shit, he is. Venom is a Marvel character.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you okay?
He wasn't in a DC movie.
Yeah, he was.
Tom Hardy?
Yeah.
Who? What am I missing?
Batman.
He was Bane.
He was
Son
Bane.
of a bitch.
Like,
Wow, you and I are both tonight. We're just taking turns.
but
He
yeah.
also voiced Deckard Cain and Diablo.
Is that true?
No.
I was about to say, I don't
It's
think-
just that
now
Bane
now
voice.
he's just making stuff
No,
up.
it's just that Bane voice. Like,
Very
oh,
wild.
Batman. I was
yeah.
thinking Ryan Reynolds, obviously, as Green Lantern, and then finding much more success as Deadpool.
No, accurate.
And speaking of Ryan Reynolds,
Great job.
oh, but we can't do it yet because we still got to hit the motherfucker of the week. And this week I have a pointed one. We talked about it on Tuesday, and it's still relevant. Pro Jared. It's still my motherfucker of the week.
Okay.
Jesse is now thinking, oh yeah, who is Pro Jared?
No, I've heard about this. He
Right.
started trying to use his power and fame to get underage girls to send him nudie pics.
Well, he's just got it to send anyone to send him pics, and some of them just happen to be nude or underage children. And also, he cheated on his wife, and like he's just a real colossal piece of shit. And what makes it bad? Like normally, I wouldn't care too much. I would just report the story and go on, but I like genuinely liked his YouTube channel, and he was one of my favorite like people to watch.
I never watched any Pro Jared stuff.
I
so.
really I liked his 1 minute reviews. He did this Sailor Moon one where he dressed up as Sailor Mercury. It was
Oh,
really
it was
creepy.
that guy.
It was that guy. You can also find a picture of him in that same outfit online where his dick's hanging out.
Oh.
Because of reasons. Other way we can say.
I wasn't gonna say. I was. Yeah. Nope. We're good.
Yeah, I figured you were going to go with any of the politicians that signed some of the recent laws.
We weren't gonna talk about.
We're not talking about that. If you guys
right.
want to hear our extremely controversial
You
views
have
on
to-
abortion, you have to pay for the pre-show.
Pay for the
$1.
pre-show.
Find out what Allie said that was so explosive that we almost kicked her off the show.
That's the most clickbait bullshit that I've ever heard in my life. And I feel like everybody knows that Allie didn't say anything explosive.
Well, they're gonna find out.
Eh.
No, you're right. I don't want to lie to the fans. No, she
I don't
didn't.
because we don't want to clickbait and disappoint people.
No, they get enough disappointment when they just listen to the shows.
We did talk about abortion. Allie did express her opinions. That
Yes.
happened. If you want to know the opinions of the four people at the table on abortion,
And you might be surprised. You might be surprised at a
you,
couple of
you
them.
would be very surprised at least one of them. That ain't clickbait. That's true. $1.
Also, I read about this story, and I think this is very funny. I want to talk about this really quick before we get to Detective Pikachu. Also, if you didn't listen to Tuesday, go back and listen to it because it was a good show, and we talked at length about Pro Jared. But the short of it is, Pro Jared is a YouTube personality who he literally posted a message about he was getting a divorce from his wife. We're going to try to do this with class. Her well-being is the most important thing to me. Please respect her privacy, all that good stuff. She then replied to it. Well, she posted her own message saying, I know he posted something, but I don't know what it is because he's blocked me. He blocked his wife on Twitter and made an announcement that she didn't know what it was about. She did not know they were getting a divorce. And then it turns out that he had been cheating on her with this friend that they had for months. She went on this whole just tirade about all the terrible shit he's done. Turns out he had a Tumblr created just for getting nudes from his fans. He pressured people into doing it. It's a bad story, and he is dropping subscribers like flies right now. So yeah, go back and listen to it on Tuesday.
YouTubers come out to be pieces of shit, and then you just watch millions leave their account. Like
except
day
Logan
by day.
Paul, who actually gained followers after the whole dead body incident.
He lost them for a minute. Like
Yeah,
he was
but then-
losing them for a little while, and then just got them all back.
I mean, Pro Jared might get him back too. Who knows?
That's true.
The internet's full of fucks.
And who was the other motherfucker recently on YouTube? It was James
James
Charles.
Charles.
James Charles and this Austin. What is his name? Because I keep wanting. Because it's not Austin St. John. Ace almost did that on Tuesday. I think it's Austin Jones. Yeah, Austin Jones, who did the exact same thing that Pro Jared did, where he was asking kids for naked pictures. And when I say kids, I know this doesn't make it any better, but we're talking about like 15, 16-year-olds. We're not talking about like 10-year-olds or 9-year-olds. And I know that doesn't make it better in the eyes of the law, but I think it's important to at least mention.
Oh,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, YouTuber that I'm waiting for the scandal to come out about because
PewDiePie.
He's had a couple.
several.
Yeah, but they're all just like racial terms and bigotry comments and
That's
like
true.
this day and age, who cares?
Yeah,
You
no,
gotta
I'm-
do something. If you can't top the president, then you're not getting in trouble.
No, the one that I'm really waiting for the scandal to come out about because he is just a real piece of shit. Ben Shapiro.
Well, yeah.
Boy, I don't like that guy.
Did you watch that video of him talking to the British interviewer?
Yes.
Where Ben Shapiro himself
Al
reposted
Neal,
it?
I think.
Yeah. And Ben Shapiro posted, Ben Shapiro gets destroyed by British interviewer, and he said, so that's what that feels like.
Wow.
Because he openly admitted that he got shat on.
Oh, that's good because most of his followers firmly believe that he won the absolute fuck out of that argument, and like everybody's reply to it, and I'm glad that everybody's replying this is it wasn't an argument, it was an interview.
No, it wasn't an interview. It
was
an
supposed to be.
It was an execution.
By Ben Shapiro executing
executed.
Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
That was like watching that was really funny, especially with like I know a little bit about BBC Network just in general and like some of their interviewers, and I know that Neil is
Staunch conservative.
staunchly conservative.
Yeah.
Like climate change denier. Like he would be just shy. Well, no, he wouldn't be alt-right here. But he would definitely he would be closer to extreme right than he would be, the middle.
Well, there was a part in that interview where Shapiro called him out and said, just say you're a left-leaning liberal, and he said, if you knew anything about me, you would know that statement is ridiculous. So.
Yeah. That was really fucking funny because clearly Shapiro did not do any research on
No
Neil.
homework. He thought he was going to get in and knock it out.
Or the BBC network in general.
Yeah.
Like he didn't, and I do like the idea that Shapiro posted like that's what that feels like because that's what he does. He gets a bunch of people that haven't. Whenever you see like the Ben Shapiro destroys whoever,
Yeah.
he gets a bunch of people that aren't prepared for like that kind of an interview where they're going to be attacking
Right.
all the time.
It would be like inviting two of us to Jeopardy along with the guy that's on like the hot streak, and then we all look stupid because we didn't know we were going on Jeopardy. If they just came around and like, hey, you guys want to go somewhere real quick?
right.
And then we're on Jeopardy and the dude's killing us. They're like, God, those guys are idiots. Like, we didn't know. Who knows this? Nobody knows this information.
Until they pop up like the movie and pop culture categories.
And then we just beat the shit out of
It's
him.
like, all right, here we go.
So we end the show with 4,000 instead of nothing. He's got 92,000. One of my other favorite parts about that was somebody like called the guy, the interviewer, out, and they're like, you were clearly antagonistic toward him and stuff like that. And he's like, no, I was just presenting the other side of the argument and questioning him on his beliefs so he could explain it. Like, he's like, is that not what like American interviewers do? And it's like, ooh, shots fired because they don't.
No, they really don't. And
That's
honestly,
why everyone goes in their little echo chamber and just goes on the shows they know will be polite to them.
and it's one of those things like had Shapiro not bailed at the end, like Neil was clearly going somewhere. Like, he was presenting a bunch of stuff, and then he was going to move towards, like, all right, so this is all the stuff in your book. Like, maybe you could explain, like, how some of your viewpoints changed or something along those lines.
Yeah. Because that was the point of that, was that Shapiro was talking about the things he was confronted with were old quotes that he has admitted were stupid, almost like he's trying to be more, because he's not a fan of Trump.
Well, he says that.
Well, they all say that until it comes time to do or die. But that's not this show. No. Let's stop talking about Ben Shapiro. Let's talk about comedian Ahmed.
Boy, I hate Ben Shapiro.
Do you like comedian Ahmed? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Because it's Ahmed. That's Ahmed, right?
Surely.
So this is from CNN. I just found this story and I want to read it to you. Comedian Ahmed is always working on new material for his act, but a 911 call is not his usual method for getting a laugh. An audience member at one of his recent shows called 911 to complain about one of his jokes. Ahmed performed at the Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, Florida on May 12th. The following day, a man who said he attended the show called 911 and complained about Ahmed when he asked the audience who was from the Middle East. The caller said a whole bunch of people raised their hand, and he said, "Where are you from?" "I'm from Iraq, I'm from Iran, I'm from Pakistan, I'm from here, I'm from there." "That's great. We could organize our own little terrorist organization."
Wow.
And the guy called the cops because he said it made him feel uncomfortable. And he stayed for the whole show.
Wow.
The officer told him, "Don't change your set, don't change your jokes." Because why should he? That's terrible. So maybe that guy should be motherfucker of the week, or at least the most like boring, I have no sense of humor comedian,
Read the room.
It may have been Lonnie. It may have been Lonnie that did that joke, or that.
And the reason he stuck around was so that he could spy on this clearly terrorist meeting.
He was clearly of terrorist descent.
Yeah,
And Ahmed's real name turns out is Aladdin Hussein.
And this was a meeting. Like, this was a secret. It was disguised as a comedy show, but what it really was the meeting of a terrorist cell.
It was
this guy is an American hero.
It was a terrorist group. They were
clearly all brown.
They were doing this as a disguise to hide their terrorist ways. God damn, they're sneaky. We need to build that wall. Except the wall has to go over the country, so they can't fly in either.
It's got to be more of a dome,
like a dome-shaped wall.
Nobody in or out,
and make sure that it's completely sealed. We don't want anybody sneaking in.
Wow.
All right, let's talk about the meat and potatoes of the show before Lindsay and Allie walk off the set offended at these terrorist jokes and the abortion talk that we're not going to talk about again. Speaking of abortion,
keep saying we're not going to, but
I'm glad you stopped me on that joke. We all saw Detective Pikachu over the weekend.
Yes.
All right, that's the show. We'll see you guys on Sunday for Nerd Up.
I reviewed it on Nerd Up
last
Sunday. I did.
But it was just you.
It was just me.
And it was spoiler-free, I'm assuming?
It was spoiler-free.
All right, let's real quick round the table. Let's get our spoiler-free review, and then we'll jump into the actual spoilers of the show. Jesse, once again, remind our viewers of the rating scale that you created that we all adhere by.
Okay, so I guess when you say as I created, I stole it. Like, I stole a similar version. It was a video game version from
yours.
somebody else,
It was yours.
and I applied it to movies.
Okay.
So basically, I like the idea of theater, matinee, rental, skip, and I feel like that that gives you a good idea of like how good the movie is versus applying an arbitrary number to it.
Right.
Which, yeah. That's it.
Oh. Oh, okay. I assume there was more to that. All
No,
right, so
not really.
in that case, Lindsay, whatever he just said, I really zoned out for most of it.
Okay.
You give us your thought.
If you are a hardcore Pokemon fan, full theater price. If you're only kind of a Pokemon fan, matinee.
I will say full theater price because I thought it was that good.
I would say full theater price.
I would say I had definitely had an experience in that theater that I have never had before.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
No, I loved the movie. I really did. But I could see how someone going in, not like big Pokemon fan, could either get lost in the pacing or
my
get mixed
argument
up
to that
somewhere.
is if you go to a film called Detective Pikachu and you're not a fan of the
why
source
are you
material,
there?
why are you there?
Yeah.
Jesse, what about
Visual
you?
spectacle.
Oh, it was too. I thought it was a great looking film.
No, it's one of the. I give it a matinee. Like, I really enjoyed the movie. The one thing that I said it about on Nerd Up as well, it's not meant for us at this table.
Disagree.
I disagree.
I disagree.
Yeah.
Some of
It's
the humor in
extremely
there.
meant for at least one person at this table, probably two.
No, the thing is, like, I enjoyed the shit out of the movie. Basically, they made a movie that people our age could go to and enjoy the fuck out of with their kids. The movie is targeted towards, like, how old we were when we started playing the Pokemon games. That's who the movie is targeted at. That said, like, I still enjoyed the shit out of this movie. I loved watching it. There was a lot I got out of it, but it's not like, don't go into this movie expecting like a deep story or like anything like that, or you know, a twist that isn't easily predictable from moment 2 in the movie.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. I think this is more of a love letter to people who grew up with Pokemon, and less for kids now.
It can be both.
It can be both, but there was enough more serious elements to it that I think a lot of younger viewers. One, there was cussing. I mean, there wasn't a lot of cussing, but there was some cussing, which is.
I'm not this kind of Pokemon. I never do this.
Well, there's the part where Pikachu tells him he would have been no, he said you would have been a damn good detective, which again. They're light curse words. These aren't things these are words you would hear on Blue's Clues.
And
I mean,
when I'm talking about like kids, I'm not talking about like, 5 and 6 year olds. I'm talking about like 10 to 13
preteens.
Like, yeah, that range. Like, yeah, your 10 to 13 year olds, that's the target audience for this movie. And I think that it's phenomenal for that group. And again, like, it is a great movie. Zane Laney is the example I brought up on Nerd Up. This movie is built for people like Zane Laney.
His squad.
Because exactly. Like, he, loves Pokemon, and he has kids that are of the age where they're enjoying Pokemon. Like, this is perfect. Like, he can go there. He can get a whole lot of enjoyment out of it. His kids can get a whole lot of enjoyment out of it. It's a visual spectacle. The CG for the Pokemon is incredible.
Yes.
Agreed.
Looks really, really good. The only time it stutters is any time a human is interacting with a Pokemon.
So I heard someone told me that you said that. I think Asa told you said that. Let's jump into spoiler territory at this point because we might say things that could spoil some stuff. So again, if you haven't seen the movie yet and you are going to go see it, and it's not like it does have a deep plot. I thought the plot was very good.
Yeah.
Like, it was easy to follow and it was interesting. I wanted to know what was going to happen, but it's not like, it's not the usual suspects.
Me saying that it's not like, super deep and intricate plot isn't saying that it's bad plot.
No,
like,
it's simple.
Yeah,
it's a simple plot.
It's just, it's meant for like the younger audience, and it's still good. But it's just not.
There is a major twist, whether you see it coming or not. There is a major twist that I don't want to spoil. So, officially spoiler territory in 5 seconds. Turn away now. Come back once you've seen the movie. And that cough signifies the beginning of spoilers.
All right.
All right. So, to me, this is not really spoilery, but probably my favorite shot of the entire film, because I do think it was a visual masterpiece in a lot of ways. Like, I know it's overthrowing it, but
I don't know if I would go so far as to say masterpiece.
I think when you take the cartoon Pokemon and you translate it to this, it ups the ante for me. It made it more. If there was no animated Pokemon and this was Pokemon, it wouldn't have been as impressive to me. But the fact that I grew up for the most part with these animals that were just clearly cartoons, and you've translated them into a more serious way, it made it look more stunning. I think that's where when I say it's a visual masterpiece, it's because they translated it so well. And there were parts where the Pokemon made so much sense. The opening shot where not the opening shot, but when you see the farmland.
When they first get to
farm.
Yeah.
And you see the Pidgeys on the roof flying like real birds and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that was the moment. I said this changed my view on Pokemon, because that was the moment where I realized that Pokemon could exist in a real world as more than just they're in the grass for you to battle, catch them, and fight. This really made it seem like Pokemon were animals. And you got to see, Rattatas at the docks.
Yep.
They
were just animals that you could form a bond with as a human being.
So I thought that was really, really cool. And I really do think the Pidgeys flying through the forest was probably my favorite scene of the movie.
See, I thought your favorite scene was going to be that you officially have canon confirmation that you can fuck a Ditto.
Let's talk about Ditto.
Did you like the beady-eyed woman?
Oh, man.
I feel
That
like
was so disturbing.
So, again, we're in spoiler territory. If you're still here and you haven't seen it, please go away, because we need to talk about Ditto. Ditto was the best goddamn part of that film. Like he was so
Seriously.
It furthered my theory that Ditto is the best Pokemon because he could turn into anybody. And I know he was enhanced. That was the
Anything.
point of the thing.
Yeah, he was genetically enhanced.
But like Ditto was so fucking cool in that
Because
movie,
they were
man.
even like, what the fuck is up with that Ditto? Because
Maybe that's why it couldn't change the face, and part of the enhancing it screwed that part up.
Because I know, like, it's one of those things, like, and I'm wondering if they've just decided to stick with that being, like, the Ditto transformation has those beady eyes, or because it was supposed to be, it was a defective Ditto. Like, every time it transformed, it had the Ditto eyes.
Duplicas, it just had an issue. It couldn't change its face.
Right. So,
but played for perfect comedic value in this.
Yes.
Yeah.
it did, especially, like, the glasses got knocked off that bitch, and I was just like...
And she just stared with the little eyes. I was like, no.
Because I knew
obviously,
I knew she
in
was
the
Ditto.
merchandise, they've been doing that to show Ditto as other Pokemon.
Exactly.
As part of that.
And see, I didn't get that it was Ditto until the beady eyes.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I legitimately thought that it was like his guard, but once I knew it, I was like, well, that makes perfect sense because you see this happening all the time.
Well, my brain didn't even translate it when they were doing the interview, and then his Ditto turns into
His
the human
helper.
to help
Yeah.
take
Yep.
him off the stage. And I'm like, yeah, no, my brain didn't even
You know,
go back
after
to
that scene, like, and as soon as I saw the bitch with the pink gloves, like, taking him somewhere and, like, not talking, Ditto.
But the great continuity in the fact that like you can go back in all the parts where it was Ditto, they were wearing glasses.
Sunglasses,
Yep.
yeah.
Like his son, who
Yeah.
turns out wasn't the bad guy, was always wearing sunglasses after a certain part.
Yep.
So yeah, that was really, really cool. Like this movie just worked on so
Yeah.
many levels. This is like the first. I still think Warcraft is a great film, but I would say this is definitely the best video game movie I've ever seen. It just they took the world and made it understandable. It wasn't too long. It had the right mix of comedy and action. Mewtwo was awesome.
Yeah, Mewtwo was really cool.
I learned something the other day. The original.
Oh, I'm hoping this has nothing to do with Pokemon.
No,
She
it,
was so excited, though.
no, it does. So the original Japanese actress and actor for Jesse and James are in the movie.
As just people in the background.
The doctor that was experimenting on Mewtwo does Jesse's voice, the woman.
Nice.
And there's the guy that does Jesse's voice, James's voice is in there too, but I don't
know
remember which one he is. But they're both in there.
That's awesome.
I'm gonna have to correct you on one of those.
All right, you go ahead. Now they didn't do it the entire time, but like they have done the voices for them in the Japanese.
When you say the female doctor, you talking about the one that was working on Mewtwo?
Yes, the one
girl.
that we only see.
The one that
in-
blows backwards in
Yes.
the end. Okay, well that's
Wait, she did the Japanese voice, is what you're saying?
That's what I read in the article. I was
because that
doing.
woman was very American.
that was Rita Ora.
Well, it's another doctor. She's a doctor character in it. Is
It might be another doctor, but I'm just saying that is
She
Rita,
wasn't the
I
main-
could have swore
yeah.
it was that one.
because Rita Ora is a pop musician.
Yeah, because when you said that, I was like, I don't think that she did the voice
I
for
don't know
Jesse,
where
but I would
found
buy
the
it.
Stupid thing.
And
then
she's
then
a
you
British
said the,
singer songwriter.
Yeah, then you said the thing about the Japanese voice is like, oh, she's definitely not that.
Okay, well,
It may have been just. It could have been a doctor in the room, though. Like I could absolutely see
Yeah,
it.
like,
being,
it
but
could've
they
been a cameo.
had an actual name for the character.
Oh yeah, I mean, like I could see them instead of just being
See if I
doctor
can
number one.
re-find this stupid.
This is
thing.
like when Asa, after Bobby Heenan had passed away, and Asa was doing a Bobby Heenan quote, and I had to correct him and tell him that wasn't Bobby Heenan, and I felt so bad because, like, I'm not trying to embarrass him. I'm just
no,
like,
that's
I don't
fine
want.
if you're correcting me, but like I know what I read, and it's off a site that hasn't steered me wrong before.
It's from. Never mind. I was gonna, like Breitbart.com or something.
No, you're such a jerk.
I'm trying to help you. It is like
That's
Rita Ora
fine.
definitely did not do the voice for.
The
no,
Japanese
but
voice,
they're
for
in
sure.
there.
And I would
Yeah, no,
believe that.
I would
Yeah.
absolutely the same thing like they did with the Power Rangers, where they put like a few of the Power Rangers.
Tommy,
just in,
Tommy, what's his name?
Jason David Frank.
yeah.
Because
and-
I almost said Tommy Lee Davidson. That is not Jason
He
David
was never
Frank.
a Power Ranger. Yeah, no, Jason David Frank and I don't remember what other Ranger.
Actually,
it was the Pink
Amy Jo
Ranger.
Johnson.
Amy Jo
Amy
Johnson.
Jo Johnson.
Yeah. Oh, did you see that the Blue Ranger is going to be at Indiana Comic Con?
No,
And we're off topic.
David Yost.
David Yost.
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 Either way, yeah, David Yost is confirmed for Indiana Comic Con, which
Cool.
likely means a few more Power Rangers are going to show up because that's how they
Usually roll.
Yeah.
Are you still looking for this article?
Yes.
in the meantime,
I
back
will
on
find
Pokemon
it.
stuff.
It's fine. I can multitask.
No, you're good. We'll just talk about more Detective Pikachu stuff.
For those of you that thought Mewtwo was going, like everybody was like, "Oh, why would you show Mewtwo in the trailer?" That spoils a huge part
you
of the
see
movie.
him in like
because
the,
you see him in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
the opening scene is a Mewtwo scene.
And one of my favorite parts of that was the fact that it was the same Mewtwo from the original animated movie.
Yes,
Yes.
Which is
they
very cool.
I
They
did like
connected
that
it straight up.
connection.
20 years ago, he escaped from the Kanto region.
Yep.
Which is just super awesome because that confirms that all of the like animated universe and this movie are still connected. This isn't like a separate spin-off thing.
Right.
This is all together. That was very, very cool. Although the storyline for Mewtwo that he could transfer the soul of a human into a Pokemon, I
Was
don't
a
remember that in the
little-
game. But
Another
he had to go
thing-
hard, I guess.
I didn't notice it right away, but watching other reviews of it and thinking back, Mewtwo has two voices. It has a
At the
female.
same time?
It has a female voice and a male voice because it's a genderless Pokemon.
That makes sense because I knew his voice sounded. Its voice sounded a little weird, you know. But I really think everyone's gonna go to this movie to see the Pokemon because the Pokemon look
Are
cool.
awesome.
And there are a ton of them. There are a ton of Pokemon.
I got
There's
my
a lot.
Dotrio.
Dotrio was in it when Allie saw the part with the Squirtle firefighters.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Squirtle Squad,
Got to see the Squirtle
or at least
squad.
a nod to the Squirtle Squad.
Machamp out there directed track.
That was
was
great
awesome.
around the Snorlax.
And
that
he
was
just had the
there.
smirkiest smirk face. Oh, so there's a part later. I don't know if anyone noticed. Whenever they transfer the Pokemon souls, the humans into the Pokemon, there's a Machamp. And everyone's freaking out and checking themselves. The first thing he does is fucking buff. Checks out his muscles.
Which, I mean, if you got transferred into a Machamp's body, would you not do the same?
Yeah, no, that Speedo's coming off.
You're curious what's underneath.
I imagine it's another 2 arms just dangling.
2.
So it's an arachnid.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Like a Pokemon.
Yeah, so the one thing I was bummed about, I didn't get to see a Dragonite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was super bummed about that because Dragonite is Umbreon and Dragonite are kind of like they're back and forth for my favorite Pokemon.
And there was only one Eevee at all.
Yeah,
There was
only
a Flareon.
we got to see an Eevee turn into a Flareon.
Yeah, which was pretty cool.
Because I don't think we got to see any of the other evolutions.
No.
I think there was only 2 evolutions in the movie, if I remember correctly. And they were
Uh,
both. The one was really cool. And that was Eevee into Flareon.
Eevee into Flareon
And then the
were
other
cool
one was
as
just great. Magikarp into
Oh
Gyarados.
Yeah.
yeah, that
Yes.
was a
And
fucking awesome scene.
I love the hint at the typing advantage that as soon as Gyarados was there and the
Charizard backed
the
up.
R wore off, like Charizard just like bitched out.
Yeah, Charizard's like,
immediately.
oh,
Because
fuck.
Gyarados needs to be like fucking. Because he's badass. He's a water dragon.
Yeah.
And they always talk about like Magikarp. Like I love how even Pikachu was like everybody shits on Magikarp, but you know
just needs a little kick.
He just needs a little kick to turn into Gyarados, and then he didn't do it. He's like shit, and then he did do it.
I love when he kicks him because it's the most subtle, quiet, just thunk. No music or anything, and he's just like, "Huh, I really saw that going differently." And then you just see Charizard bow down, and you know what's happening. And Gyarados was so terrifying. It's exactly what I
Yeah.
thought Gyarados would look like in real life. And then Pikachu's line of "I don't float"
I don't
as he just washes away.
Which is a great surfing Pikachu reference.
Yeah.
No, it's yeah, that was just fucking awesome. And Charizard looked amazing.
Yeah.
I was really because Charizard's also up there, and like he's in my top tier favorite Pokemon.
Most of them, they got their height things correct also, because Charizard's not really that big. Like,
Right.
he's just a little taller than a person. But they did mess up on the Snorlax Machamp.
He was super small.
Because Snorlax
Snorlax is
is way
tiny.
bigger than Machamp.
But I heard that Snorlax was on a keto diet. So
It's not decreasing the fat. It's just decreasing his height.
he shrunk a little.
It's a young Snorlax.
No, there you go.
It's somewhere in
that was-
between
that was a baby
Munchlax and
Snorlax.
Snorlax. Yeah,
There
there was some.
There were no baby Pokemon in it.
That's true.
There were some missed opportunities though.
And I'm sure there was a lot of Pokemon that I just didn't see because especially in like that fighting arena, there were so many Pokemon on the screen at one time.
There were a couple Pokemon that they used a lot, like that just kept reappearing. Like Bulbasaur was in it a ton. Arcanine or was it Growlithe?
Both. But
I never
Growlithe-
saw an Arcanine.
There was an Arcanine in the police station.
There were a bunch of those.
Because I saw there was a shitload of Growlithe, I know, because like that historically in the Pokemon lore,
Cops.
Growlithe are cop. Yeah, they hang out with the cops. I don't think did we see a Vulpix at all? 'Cause I don't remember Vulpix.
Nope, there was no Vulpix or Ninetales.
There were a couple that
There was a lot of Gen 5s because it was supposed to have a very American feel, and the Unova region is supposed to be New York.
No, okay.
So there
It
were a
felt like
lot
it.
of Gen
Yeah.
5s.
Oh, that's another one of my favorite scenes visually was when I don't know if it was Pidgey or Pidgeotto or Pidgeot. 'Cause
All three of them were in there.
I get them all confused. But there's a part where he's returning a bag to a woman who's up on like almost like a walkway. And again, it's just like it looked right. Like it looked like they belonged together in the same universe. Now there were other parts that I do agree with you where it seemed a little off. And mostly for me it was Snubbull and Ken Watanabe. Or Watanabe.
That was bad.
It was bad.
Yeah.
Like when he's petting it and stuff, it definitely looks like he's just petting air.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even like. Marvel has learned, like Marvel's done this probably the best I've seen in CG, where it's just like they actually have something there
For him to touch.
for them to interact with. And I mean like, and it's not just, I say Marvel has done it the best, but I know other places have too, like Game of Thrones even.
Star Wars even.
Star Wars, yeah, they have like actual stuff there to interact with, and then they CG over it.
Right.
Versus it definitely did look like, and that's what I was talking about with like, anytime people interacted with a Pokemon, not the other way around. When Pokemon interacted with people, it looked fine. Like Pikachu running around on the guy's like shoulders.
Pikachu
and stuff.
looked fine interacting with people. Like his, but he was also the focus. So
Right.
they put more work into it.
So, but like I said, like him interacting with people looked fine. Whenever though somebody tried to interact with Pikachu, like if you understand what I'm talking about with the difference there, like that's where it looked weird. Like anytime a person tried to interact with a Pokemon, it looked weird.
I thought her picking up Psyduck didn't look bad. Like there was some good and some bad. It was mixed. But the Snubbull was definitely
That
the worst.
looked
Even
weird.
though he was amazing.
Yeah, no, Snubbull was cool.
Is yours mad at me?
No,
he
he's real sweet.
Snubbull was great.
And then that's when you had like the really awkward and I feel like it kind of worked because sort of his character probably should have known like, yes, I can pet Snubbull and Snubbull will be fine with this. But he definitely made it look like, he was nervous to pet his own Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, Snubbull immediately looked over and was like,
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he is pissed off. Who knows? But yeah, like fortunately, they definitely made an emphasis on like people not really like interacting with a Pokemon much.
Yeah.
Like I said, Pokemon did interact with people, and it looked fine. But
For the most part, I mean, for the whole thing though, it worked well.
yeah, anytime the two were separate,
Yeah.
phenomenal.
And some Pokemon, like the Pidgeys. Seeing the Pidgeys fly around in real world made sense.
Oh,
Looked
that was
great.
cool.
The comedy was great. There wasn't a single joke in there I didn't enjoy, other than, of course, it's a kids' movie, so you have to have at least one.
Fart joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least this one was it was simple and it was quick.
The silent but deadly. Or
Yeah.
whatever,
I liked Pikachu walking along the bridge, depressingly singing the original theme song.
That was
Yeah.
fantastic. I really, really enjoyed that. Like the plot twist, like I definitely saw coming, like real early in the movie.
I forget exactly when I realized it. It was probably about 30, 40 minutes in. Like, it wasn't really quick for me. But then for the rest of it, I kind of figured. But I remember the moment, I'll never forget the moment Allie figured it out. Because I saw the look on her face. Her mouth kind of opened a little bit, and I was like, oh, did you just figure it out? And I could swear she was just going to start punching me. The Mr. Mime scene
Yes.
was like, turn me around on Mr. Mime.
It really
was
did.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never look at Mr. Mime the same way ever again.
Just say it. See it. See it. His increasing frustration with Mr. Mime was good. I'm assuming that Mr. Mime burned to death,
or at least he thinks he burned to death.
which is just like death for him, apparently.
The one thing I am really bummed about with this movie in general,
No Beedrills.
God damn, that would have been. I did want to see what those looked like because the only like really terrifying Pokemon we got to see were like Gyarados and Mime. But
Mime.
I don't know. Mewtwo was kind of terrifying.
Mewtwo
He was a little
Mewtwo
scarier than I
creepy
expected,
looking.
yeah.
But he
Those
turned out to be a good
Bulbasaur.
guy. So.
He was full of rage. Just a very angry man-woman.
very
cat.
angry Pokemon. No, because of the plot twist, we're not getting a sequel. If we get a sequel to Detective Pikachu, it's not going to have a talking Pikachu in it.
I agree with you because I remember being sad in the end when they transfer. Because I thought maybe, all right, so this is the big spoiler. If you're still here for some reason, the big spoiler is that Ryan Reynolds plays the kid's father, who is Detective Pikachu. That Mewtwo put his.
Whenever we
soul
talked
in his
earlier
body.
about how like Mewtwo had the power to put humans in Pokemon,
Yeah.
that's what he did to save the life of the kid's dad.
Although they never really explained how it saved him.
Yeah, or how like Mewtwo just like brought him back.
Yeah, how brought it.
Because the body was clearly, he said specifically the body was broken. That was the only way to save him was to put him in Pikachu.
But I guess maybe he was healing him at the same time.
Yeah,
but he
maybe.
said, "Bring the sun to me, and it's the only way I can repair him." How?
Maybe he needed the DNA.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Like, I'm not going to.
That's that Avengers moment for me with the time travel, where it's like, just accept it, just accept it,
Yeah,
enjoy
Accept
the
it
film.
and move on.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Yeah, exactly. You just kind of. All right. Well, I have accepted a lot of other things in this movie. I'll go ahead and accept like no explanation. Here.
Right.
And again, like that's also where I lean towards like this movie isn't meant for adults because
You think too much.
Yeah, like we're trying to look too much into that plot.
I feel like even though the whole Pokemon going into or humans going into Pokemon thing is kind of like a bad plot because that was never in
It just
anything.
means that the next one will be the mystery dungeon.
I was about to say
movie.
Mystery Dungeon game like
Right.
was exactly that.
But I mean, like other than that, the plot to me was solid. There wasn't a lot of plot holes, which was cool because it's very easy to do plot holes in video game movies and stuff because you're just pushing it out for the kids.
And they kept it simple. Like I said, like this was perfect for like that 10 to 13 range. They had some neat twists and stuff like that. That if you're not like looking too much into the movie, like they didn't make the plot so convoluted that they created a bunch of holes or anything.
Right.
They
kept
had
it simple.
Yeah, they kept it simple and they told a good story.
Yeah, which is fine. You can do that sometimes.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with like not every movie needs to be a Tarantino film.
No movies need to be Tarantino films. Lindsay, go ahead. You were going to say something. Then
So I've been being a dweeb the past few days and watching reviews right and left on it, and I do agree with a few other ones that the pacing of the film is kind of rushed, and there are scenes in the trailers that were not in the movie, so when they get a DVD release, we're probably going to have a bunch of deleted scenes. as
well, the
bonus
original cut was
features.
4.5 hours.
No, it wasn't.
And apparently they had enough stuff of Ryan Reynolds swearing like while voicing Pikachu that they could have made a movie out of those cuts, which is funny to me.
I am sad that he won't be Pikachu anymore because, like, I was hoping that maybe his body was just destroyed,
And
that
he would just have to stay
he would
as
have to stay in
Pikachu.
Pikachu.
This
But
is
then
my
also-
dad.
but
He's
that-
a Pikachu.
Yeah,
that also sucks for Pikachu. Bye,
Yeah.
Pikachu.
Yeah.
You just have to share that body. It's like Get Out. Pikachu was constantly falling backwards into the darkness as Ryan Reynolds was taking over. Did you think about that, Allie? Does that change your view?
Or Pikachu was just taking a nap.
Dark sleep, eternal sleep.
In fairness, Pikachu willingly gave up his body to
Yeah,
save because
but-
that was something they mentioned in the movie.
But then when Mewtwo blasted him, you saw Pikachu go, ah, and like painfully. Maybe Pikachu was going like, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. What? Motherfucker, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I mean, definitely a possibility.
So here's a question for you. Now that everyone's back in their regular bodies, what are they going to do with them giant Torterra?
That's what I
Oh,
said.
dude, yeah.
Like, what do you do with those giant Torterra?
Put them
They
in a
were,
Pokeball.
I mean, they were awesome.
So that was the part of the movie that like I got from the trailer because I remember in the trailer there's a part where like the world was crumbling and I wondered where is that going to fit in this movie and I thought maybe it was Mewtwo.
Then
Like,
when you saw like the Torterra experiment, you're like,
oh no.
Yeah, I had the same fucking thought. Like,
Torterra Garden? What are we talking about?
They look
it was
normal
like,
size to me.
especially when they said like, yeah, they look normal size to me. I was like, oh, we got some fucking giant ones. Shit started moving. I did not expect there to be 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were just off in the distance, more of them.
Yeah, no, that was a fucking cool scene.
Yeah.
Like that was cool as shit.
And I want the Bulbasaur army.
The Bulbasaurs were
There's so
adorable.
many
I-
Bulbasaurs.
They
Love
were
when
adorable.
the Bulbasaur straight up says
Yeah.
to her. She's about
Yeah,
to
the two of
follow
them just
him, you know,
walk in front of her.
Yeah, one of them literally goes, mm-mm.
I was like, that was the one part though that I was confused about. Like, Bulbasaur was the only Pokemon that didn't say its name when it talked.
It squeaked.
Yeah, just kind of like.
Well, isn't that the
It sounded
old...
like the
More
what's the
like
little bitty
that.
frog, the little bitty squeaky.
Oh, the desert frog?
Yeah, the little.
It might have been more like their cries from the video game.
Yeah, but like every other Pokemon, like actually said
Said
its
its
name.
name.
Like even the Ludicolo and the.
No.
Well, I thought like the Apom didn't say its name. They just
Yeah.
made
They
chirping
just kinda
noises.
chirped.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true. Well, I thought I heard them say their name at some point.
I think it
Like
was,
whenever he was handing him his clothes or something.
that was a weird mix. Maybe Pokemon can say more than maybe they can make grunts and squeaks. You know what I mean?
Oh, because
Like,
I guess Charizard also just kind of roared and stuff. But like,
Yeah.
then again, like the only time we really saw Charizard was just like he never talked he didn't make a lot of noise outside of being enraged. And the same
Right.
thing with the
Apoms.
Apoms, which that's why I thought like they said something whenever he handed them the clothes. But while they're raging, they would just made monkey noises.
I've always hated that Pokemon say their name. I've never liked that because that's so dumb to me. that
weird.
every Pokemon just says its name.
But like, and I would have been fine with them not doing the name thing
if
it was
hadn't
consistent.
already. Yeah, because Psyduck definitely went Psyduck every 5 seconds.
yeah.
Yeah, Psyduck said its name all the time. Pikachu like said its name all the time. There were a lot of instances where like the Pokemon said its name, and then there were a few instances where they didn't.
Yeah, so that is weird. The more, I didn't think about that one.
Like that bugged me a little
But
bit.
I
I'll have
preferred
to
it.
wait till I rewatch to.
I preferred it to hearing 30 Bulbasaurs going Bulba all together. The squeaks were much cuter.
They were, and it was cute. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, and I enjoyed that, and I would be fine with that being the standard. But you got to pick one. You can't just.
Well, like even the game, like you said, the game still does that, right? Like they still don't say their
Pikachu
name.
is the only one who says his name in the games. The rest of them are just cries.
Maybe it was because it was Psyduck, and that Psyduck was special because it was the girls. Also, that girl I thought she was really fun and super cute. And I wondered to myself, why is she so cute? Like, there's something about it, like I know this girl from somewhere because she is just like adorable and pretty. And I looked it up, and it turns out it's the girl from Paranormal Activity 4. The blonde girl that's on the cover, like the star of the movie.
Oh,
she was the only reason I like that movie. And yeah, so good casting choice there.
enough.
Bill Nye as the bad guy, great. He's the bad guy. He's the British guy. He's the old guy.
I didn't realize that was Bill Nye. I'll be honest with you.
He's not the science guy. We're saying Bill Nighy, not Bill Nye.
Because my brain was hearing the other, and I'm like, "What are you talking
I
about?"
also thought he said.
That wasn't Bill Nye.
I also thought he said Bill Nye at first, and I was like, "No, hold on a second."
Bill Nighy. 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 Allie?
There's a BuzzFeed thing where they're having Ryan Reynolds, Justice, and the girl, I don't know her name.
I forget her name. It's Newton, something Newton. Or Newtown or something
They're
like that.
taking the which Pokemon quiz are you? And Ryan Reynolds is just like, I'll do this. This sounds great. She's kind of like, yeah, I'll do this. And he's like, okay, I gotta think about this. Because apparently Justice is a huge Pokemon fan. And he's like, okay, so if I pick this one.
There was a big sentimental tug in that movie. Like, it wasn't, it had a legitimately, I thought, sad kind of story, like with his mother passing away and being estranged from his father. Like, that's pretty heavy for a kid's movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like part of that was rushed. So, like, did she go to the hospital on the day he was supposed to get a Pokemon, is what I'm guessing?
I thought he was going to battle that day, or he was going to go watch the
or
battle.
something. Because he said it was the biggest day in his life.
It was the Sinnoh battle.
It was the Sinnoh battle. It was the big tournament he was going to go watch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she went to the hospital, and I think it was a separate day where he came, or maybe she was still in the hospital and Ryan Reynolds came back to tell her mother she's in bad shape. Yeah, I mean, they had to rush through it because there was a lot of content in that movie they had to get through.
Also, Cubone.
Yes.
That reminds me. Yeah, the Cubone at the beginning. I loved that Cubone. Also, it said its name.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it was just kind of wailing Cubone.
And that was the scene that gave the nod to the Pokedex entries and things that way.
It's not everyone can pull off wearing your dead relative's skull, but you do it.
I get it. It's the lonely Pokemon, and I'm lonely.
And Cubone's lonely.
Cubone!
I liked that scene a lot, and I also just loved Cubone. And then, like, whenever he like failed to catch it, Cubone beat the shit out of him.
Run! I like
So angry.
I like the Trico stuck to the
Yes,
glass.
that was
That
great.
was cool.
I need to rewatch to find out whether the little like herd of Pokemon near the ground were Swinub
See, I thought they were
or
Swinubs.
Diglett. I don't know which they were. I feel like they're Swinubs,
I
but
thought they
I
were
need a
swine
better
up
look.
because there was a bunch of them, and I was like, they look like little
I
bitty
like
furry
Swinub.
pigs. So yeah, I thought that was definitely a swine. Which one was the one that was like a giant golem looking thing?
Golett.
That was Golett? Okay. That was one that I didn't even see at first, and I was like, oh shit, there's one right there.
Or was it the was it the bigger one, or was it the bigger
Because we
one?
also
Or
got to see
Golurk?
Graveler at some point.
Yes.
Too.
This one was
Graveler
just
did pop in.
standing.
It
Like,
was-
he
I
was
think
just
that was
standing.
that was a Golurk. That was the evolution, I think.
I don't
Yeah.
know what a Golurk is. I'll be
It's
honest
Gen
with
5.
big golem looking thing.
Because I know a Golem. You
Yeah.
have Geodude, Graveler, Golem,
Yeah.
but I don't know what a Golurk is.
Oh, when he turned into Machamp at the end, and Machamp just that whole didn't he say something? He said ditto. That's what it was. He's like, finish him off, and you just see giant Machamp Ditto going ditto.
That was pretty funny. Yeah, that whole scene with the Ditto fight was really, really cool.
Ditto was just so cool. Like, I think like Ditto should be the breakout star of the movie.
I like that it actually was
Fucking
like
beady ass
gelatinous
eyes.
looking when it was in its Ditto form.
That poor Ditto. He was a good Ditto. He was the best Ditto. That Ditto was probably my favorite thing in that movie. He was so cool. And yes, the fact that he turned into both Suki Waterhouse and that other girl, I can't remember her name, just, again, glasses.
So you're saying you would fuck the Ditto, but you need glasses.
I don't think I have a choice. I don't think there's an option here. If it can turn into anything like that, yeah.
Shannon has a new favorite Pokemon.
All right, sex aside.
Which I will say, I am glad they stayed away from the Furrymons and the Waifumons in this series.
Yeah, imagine how creepy that would have been if they would have tried to include some of the sexy ones.
Didn't see any. Well, I thought we saw Lucario, didn't we?
Nope, Lucario is not in it.
Definitely didn't see any Gardevoirs.
No Lopunnies, no Incineroar.
I was a little sad we didn't see Jinx.
I was fine with it.
Some Pokemon, they won't let you
I also
see.
would have liked to see Incineroar because I just like Incineroar. And that, really, it's because
Comfey's the only Alolan Pokemon we got to see at all.
there was what's the little like fairy thing in the ring?
That's Comfey.
Oh, okay.
Allie was upset that she was trying to tell me how like you saw Bulbasaur. What was it? It was Squirtle and Blastoise. You never got to saw the middle evolution.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen an Ivysaur.
That would have been neat.
But there was also
I would like to have seen a
no
Venusaur.
Venusaur.
Yeah.
But no Ivysaur, no.
But we saw Blastoise and Squirtle, Charmander, and
But I really would have liked to
Charizard.
have seen Wartortle with the Heihachi hair.
Yeah.
I would have also liked to see a Wartortle.
Wartortle.
That would have been very funny.
I
But
like Wartortle.
the selection of Pokemon they had in them. Oh, Gengar was terrifying.
Yes.
Gengar, like I mentioned that on Nerd Up. Like Gengar makes an appearance. I wasn't a fan of how they made him look in it.
Which part?
When he's flying
visually?
around, just because whenever I think Gengar, like he can fly and float and shit, but they made him look almost just like more like Ghastly than Gengar. Because I don't know, whenever I think Gengar, like I think
more on the ground.
yeah, he can float, but he's got a solid body that he walks around with. Like he's Ghost, but he's not. Because Ghastly and Haunter both kind of have that more incorporeal.
They don't have legs.
Yeah. Yeah, like they kind of float around, and I could see there being Haunter. Like I think he kind of ditches the Ghastly, has like the
he becomes more solid as he
he's more
evolves.
right, exactly. So Haunter, like I could kind of see like a little bit of the. I'm trying to think of the word I want to use for it. Not gas, but like vapor around it.
Yeah.
And then Haunter, I can almost see you doing a little bit of that, but Gengar by that point he's solid.
Yeah.
But they made him look
But
like
he's still a ghost, so he could do it. So it was a style choice you disagreed with.
Exactly. Like I don't think it looked bad or anything. Like me personally, I wasn't a fan of the direction they went with it.
How about the horror part? When you first see the Greninjas and they're in the tanks.
The Greninjas are awesome.
Especially when she's sitting there doing that thing and you see the tanks open behind her. There was a moment of, oh shit.
Yeah.
The Greninjas
Like, you
were,
knew it was coming because of the trailers, but
they were terrifying.
yes, they were.
They were legit terrifying.
Just-
The Greninjas were cool
And
as
I
shit.
liked seeing them beforehand, like when they were walking in the streets in the market
All
district.
Shinobi style.
But you saw one of them sitting there with its actual tongue wrapped around its
Yeah.
neck, and it's just like ew.
Yup.
Greninjas
And, like,
was
Which
legit
I
scary.
have to say, I liked Licky Tongue.
look, is this anybody's lick of tongue?
You have a very
No.
generous tongue.
That was cool.
He was so weird looking.
Yes.
Like they can't do every Pokemon in this style because some of them will just look terrifying.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also
I like.
choose because Jigglypuff in one of the Pokedex says that it has the skin like a balloon, and
But
they
still made
chose
it
to do
furry.
it
Yeah.
furry
It was very
instead because
furry.
they're like,
Yeah.
that would be terrifying.
Yeah. Which Jigglypuff is one of those ones we're going to get a cutscene from because we don't get to see the puffy face expression.
Yeah,
that it did in
it was in the trailer, right? Yeah, because I
Yeah.
thought he was going to draw on that guy's face, and he didn't. And I was kind of sad about that. 'Cause I was waiting for it.
We didn't really get a true Jigglypuff moment.
Ludicolo was also, for the
That
brief
was
moment there, was
terrifying.
extremely funny.
Yes.
Oh, he's so
Yeah.
scary. I don't want that
She-
guy serving me
she-
drinks.
She
That was a she?
Pikachu,
kept calling her darling.
doll, and
Oh.
Sweetie,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Are you assuming that Ludicolo's gender?
Yes.
Well, Pikachu did. So.
Well, I mean, maybe it identified as a female.
Okay.
Okay, then she.
Nah, I guess you. But what if? But if that Ludicolo wants to battle other females?
Oh my God, we're not doing this conversation now.
Pokemon doesn't have an issue with genders battling one another.
But either way, we didn't get to see. We didn't. I say get to. They didn't put Beedrill on the screen because
I wish I got a better look at Joltik.
Joltik was cute, but Joltik will always be cute. But imagine Beedrill.
Terrifying. What about Heracross?
Especially like if they go like full realistic, because like even the Tauros looked very much like just oddly shaped bulls.
The Buffalone.
Those weren't okay.
I also thought it was a Tauros.
They were Buffalone.
That makes way more sense because I was like, that's a weird looking Tauros.
But again, imagine a 3 foot tall bee.
Yeah, a 3 foot tall walking like bee,
They don't
wasp
walk,
really.
They still just hover.
He could,
because
it could. Yeah.
Imagine him fucking the group I'm stomping towards you with those drills on their hands.
Because it's called Beedrill, but it's definitely more like, especially there's a Japanese wasp.
Yeah, it's a
that
wasp.
it looks.
He does not look like a friendly bee.
No,
he's very frightening thing. Whooper would be cute, but again, go back to Beedrill.
No,
Beedrill is so. Beedrill's gonna.
Yeah, I mean that's always our example of like
the terrifying.
Because you think about like, would you want to live in a world of Pokemon? And then it's like you think about all this fun, all this cool stuff, and then you get to like, well, what about Beedrill?
Yeah.
Ooh.
To be fair, there's also like spiders in real life that I do the same thing to.
Yeah, but they're not 3 foot tall.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because there are spiders in the Pokemon world that would be the same size,
not bigger
or bigger.
I'm pretty sure Ariados is pretty big.
Yeah.
Just imagine a 3 foot spider crawling around. You're just sitting there at night on the roof. You see, that's a lot of legs.
I would keep a fire, but like I would have a fire type at all times
to burn that motherfucker.
Yeah, even if it's like, other Pokemon want to bond with me or whatever, it's like, nah, me and Charizard here, or fuck no, because it's me. It would probably be like, what's the lamest fire type that you can think of?
Charizard.
Oh, son of a bitch! Zach's giving you the evil eyes back there too.
Feel it. I can just feel it behind me.
No, what's the fire monkey of like the
Chimchar.
Yeah,
Chimchar.
Even if it was fucking Chimchar, I was like, all right, whatever. Like you bugs, you're taking care of all the bug types.
Imagine you open your window in the morning and the spider.
Your job.
The spider is hanging down from the web, almost like goddamn SWAT about to break into your window, and he's just looking at you. And
I'm like, I got Chimchar.
You'd have a Torkoal, and it'd just take its sweet time.
God damn it!
I'd have a shotgun. Shotgun beats all most types.
I would just have Pokeballs. Like I'm gonna catch it,
and then you just throw it away.
No, the ball. Like I have a vault of just like all the spiders and like Beedrills and shit. I catch and they just go in there.
You take the Pokeball with the spider in it and you wrap it in tissue and flush it. You don't have to worry about it. All right. We got to get out of here. But the point we're trying to make is it was a fantastic movie. Well worth your time.
Absolutely. If you're a Pokemon fan, full
Just
price.
go,
It's a must-see.
yeah.
It gives me hope for Sonic the Hedgehog.
No.
No, we still don't have hope in that?
A little bit.
Okay, well, I tried.
What about the new Mortal Kombat movie?
They already made the perfect Mortal Kombat
James
movie.
Wan is doing it at least, right?
Oh, good. So there'll be jump scares. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Of course, let us know what you thought about Detective Pikachu. We want to hear your thoughts, especially you, Zane Laney. I want to know what you thought of it. And I think I saw that you liked it, but tell me personally. All right. Thank you guys. We'll see you on Sunday for Nerd Up. And it's a morning show.
Shit, it is.
Because Money in the Bank.
Yeah, you're right.
Unless we just stop watching wrestling, which we all just gave a thumbs up to. All right. See you on Sunday, guys. Take it easy. Later. Lindsay, Pika Pika. Give me Pika Pika. There you go.